You know what? If you ate a 250 calorie piece of cake every single day of your life, you're going to be fine.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This podcast is going to be really special as I'm targeting all my women who out there are facing some kind of difficulties with their weight loss or in their fitness journey or some kind of nutrition journey they need help with. This video is for you guys. So let's get started. Alright, so would you please introduce yourself to all our audience and to me?
For sure. My name is Paulette Taylor, and I'm a local to Fort McMurray, fitness professional. Health, fitness, nutrition is definitely a passion. I've been a personal trainer for several several years. It's something that started for me several years ago, coming into my 40th year. And I guess essentially it started after the age of 35 and wanting to go into my 40s feeling stronger, feeling better about myself, feeling empowered and knowledgeable about everything health and fitness related, and just wanting to be a better version of myself. So, what started off as a passion for my own well being turned into a passion for women in general, particularly women over the age of 35, because that was my demographic. That's who I was. Those are the things that I was suffering with. And the journey that I went through, and just realizing the support that wasn't there through, my doctors, or other health coaches as well, and finding something that was going to be really, beneficial for me, I guess, in the end, and something that was going to work well for me, and then, transferring that knowledge to other women that were also struggling and continue to struggle, and the amount of knowledge and information that I can just basically put out there to help whoever I can.
I've seen your content on Instagram, and honestly, it's really knowledgeable. I always keep on reading when I personally feel that I might be messing some things up. There's something that I need to know more about why I'm feeling so anxious, why I'm feeling so stressed out, or it's. I feel like it's not just for women over 40; it's for all the women who are struggling with their hormones.
It
But
is.
how long have you been helping women in your career to?
So probably I would say I'm pushing on about 10 years now, for helping other people. So essentially, like I said, it started as just a journey for myself, and then it transitioned into helping other women. So I would say probably going on about 10 years, but it's only probably been about the last, I would say, 7 years that I really started to focus on hormonal changes, nutrition, and how to support the hormonal changes that women in general experience through nutrition, and finding something that's going to work or that will work for them in general.
And during all these 10 years, what is the most common thing have you found out about what women are commonly facing in their journey to nutrition?
Um, I think that's kind of a question that probably could have a lot of answers, because I think women experience, and they go through different phases of their life, um, but in saying that, like, one of the biggest things that I see is just a lack of knowledge in what they need to be doing in order to find a sustainable way of losing weight and finding balance in their life. You see a lot of yo-yo dieting, extreme deficits in terms of their calories, lots of fad diets. Although I'm not opposed to what we'll call a fad diet, I think that it has to be reasonable, and it has to be something that you're willing to stick with for the remain, like, for your lifetime, right? If it's something that you're just doing short term, then that's not sustainable for you for a lifetime. But essentially finding something that is. So I think for a lot of women, and I know for me in general, like I spent probably the first 35 years of my life, basically just yo-yo dieting. It was just like cutting out everything that I could, try every diet out there that I could find. I've done keto and I've done paleo, low carb, Atkins, South Beach diet, like you name it, I've done it. But none of those were sustainable. And I think that that's probably one of the biggest things that I see with women is, taking a nutritional approach for one that's just not sustainable. It's not one that they're going to be able to maintain for their lifetime, and then they see those cycles of weight gain and weight loss. That's probably one of the biggest things that I see for women. That all or nothing approach to
Yeah.
their nutrition. Yeah.
Do you think like stress and cortisol levels? Because I personally keep on reading about these things that okay, I have to keep my stress level low, I have to keep my cortisol
Yeah.
level low, otherwise my face will puff up or like I'll feel bloated. Do you think that is one of the main reasons that women are having weight gain in midsection, especially?
I mean, I think that it's a contributing factor for some women, but I don't know if it's a contributing factor for all women. But cortisol is something that has really come to light in the last couple of years, and I think that people are much more aware now of the amount of stress that they are experiencing and the repercussions that it has on your body in general, right? So like when you are experiencing high levels of stress and your body is producing a lot of cortisol, you have that tendency to gravitate towards more highly palatable food items that are probably a little bit more comforting, and like you see these shifts in weight and weight gain that comes as part of that, and you see that gain in the weight and you know in your belly or like in your face, and so for a lot of women they're finally becoming aware of what stress does to your body and the impact that it has. I do think that it is a contributing factor for a lot of women, but it's manageable, and that's the thing that I think that women need to really focus on is realizing that like a cortisol response is normal in the human body, but it's how do we manage that.
Yes, it's more like a life lesson that it's not about what life throws at you, it's the way you deal with that.
Yes.
So that's the
Yes.
same thing as cortisol level and stress levels as well.
Yes.
And with that, I feel like most of the women, including myself, I have a binge eating habit. If I'm stressed out, if I feel like okay, I'm going through a lot, it's okay to have a little treat, and that treat goes on to the whole cake. Honestly, with me, I feel like it's during this time when I'm almost on my periods. So that is the time when I have stress level for some reason,
Yeah.
and I end up eating a lot of things that I shouldn't be eating. So do you think what kind of hormones are the ones that are contributing to that?
I definitely think that there could be, cortisol that could be contributing to that. Ghrelin could be another one that's contributing to that. Your hunger hormone, like there's a lot of hormones that are contribute to your hunger, your energy, your cravings, and how your body responds to that, right? And the thing is though, when you're looking at nutrition and you're looking at things like eating a piece of cake, you are going to have this response to that piece of cake that is like delightful, and it feels good, and because you're feeling good about it, you're going to have the tendency to eat more of it, right? So it's like realizing what you're doing and kind of shifting the mindset. It's okay to have cake, but what are we like, are we pairing it with something? What's the remainder of our nutrition look like for the day? What's like, what are we doing outside of that piece of cake to manage the stress, to bring those levels down? And nutrition as a whole, like when we look at it, it's not just about that piece of cake. It's our overall, the day in general. What did your nutrition look like earlier in the day? Did you eat anything?
Yeah.
Like, was your breakfast a protein forward breakfast? Like, what did your lunch look like? Did you skip? Are you fasting? Like, there's so many questions that I have when people are like, oh, I ate this cake and then I couldn't stop eating it. And it's like, okay, cool. But what did the remainder of your day look like? How did we get to that point? Right? Like, are you skipping breakfast? What are you eating? There's so many variables that go into that. It's hard to just be like, well, yes, but no. It's always like a maybe. Let's
Honestly,
talk about it.
yes. I do have a question after that because, like, personally, if we do end up eating like a cake, a
Mhm.
whole cake, do you think that it completely contributes to the weight gain just because of that whole cake, or it's something I heard that okay, yeah, that's the whole cake is not gonna go in one go. If you eat it every single day, that is the time when you gain weight. But if
Yeah.
you have it all at once and then you get back to your diet, then you kind of not gain it.
Okay, well, let's think about a cake in how it looks in terms of calories. Let's say on average a piece of cake is 250 calories, give or take, somewhere around there. And you have 8 pieces of cake. Like, if you ate that whole cake, that would be 2,000 calories. The amount of weight that you would gain off of that 2,000 calories is pretty minimal. Like, there's probably not going to be a lot going on, and if you do see weight gain, probably a lot of that is going to come in the form of water retention from the increase in the carbohydrates, like those types of things, and probably will be gone within a day or two as well. So doing a one-off and eating 2,000 calories worth of cake, it's probably not going to be that much harm. But if you do it every day, you know what? If you ate a 250 calorie piece of cake every single day of your life, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Absolutely. There's no reason why you can't. Nutrition is not about, what you can and can't have. Nutrition really is about balance, and finding what is going to work for you. It's being a diet detective and having an understanding of, how your nutritional choices impact your body, and how it helps you to manage things like your hunger, your energy, and your cravings. So, like, if you get home at night and like you have cravings for something, have you ever tried to shut those off? Have you ever tried to be like, oh, I'm just not going to eat that?
Sometimes, yes.
But what happens?
Then I end up having a little extra when
Yeah.
I do. Like, okay, you know what? I control that time, so now I deserve a little extra. That's what I do.
Yes. Whereas if you factored that one piece of cake, whatever it is, whatever your pleasure is, into your daily calorie allowance, your macros, you still prioritize protein for all of your meals, you still did all of the things, you can have that cake, right? It's about balance. And if we, look at it as like a moderation approach, everything goes. Nothing is off limits.
The moment you said you can have that cake, I took it personally. You can have that cake.
You can have that cake, every single day. Like, it's about creating a balance, and something that works for you, right? And like finding a nutritional approach that brings you results that you're happy with, and that you can live a lifetime doing. Like, if you were going to live your lifetime of never eating another piece of cake, cool. And if that worked for you, awesome. But if you know that at the your end mark, like, you're gonna have cake, like you want that as part of your life, then make it a part of your life, even in your weight loss journey. Find out how to manage that. Find out how to make it work, and do the things so that you can have the things that you love.
Is there something like if we want to lose that weight, like suppose somebody has weight coming up, and especially like us women, if there's something coming up, we want to fit right, we want to fit into the dress, we want to be ready for it,
Yeah.
and with that we okay, you know what, I'm not gonna have this for like next 2 months, and I'm losing the weight. Do you think yes, it will be okay for the event, but does that somehow affect your
hormones, or is that healthy, or would you suggest in those cases?
I think that something like short term is going to be okay. And I think like 3 months, like if we looked at, going into a calorie deficit over a 3 month period, I actually think that that's probably pretty good. So what is that? 12, 4, 8, 12 weeks. So that is a pretty good time frame to go into a calorie deficit, with the understanding that after that 12 weeks, you're going to go back to maintenance, or you're going to go into a calorie surplus. There's got to be something that happens. You can't stay, or like you shouldn't stay in in a restrictive calorie deficit for extended periods of time. It's when we go into these calorie deficits for extended periods of times, that's when it becomes an issue, right? It's like restriction, 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 and it goes on for years. And I see it quite often, with women in particular. They always come and they're like, something about this 1,200 calories, and I don't know where this magic 1,200 calorie number came from, but they're like, I eat less than 1,200 calories. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, how long have you been doing that? And they're like, years, like literal years. And I'm like, okay, so, at that point, when it's been years, we have damage. We have metabolic damage. We have metabolic adaptation. Those are the people that I know right away that we need to bring into a reverse. We need to get them to start eating more food, because the thing is, once your body becomes adaptive to a certain amount of calories, it's not gaining or losing. Like, have you ever went into like a calorie deficit and then all of a sudden, like, you've plateaued and you're not losing any more weight there? You didn't change anything, but the weight isn't coming off. Your body is it's very smart, and it's very adaptive to those calories that you're eating. And at some point it will become adaptive, and you have to do one of two things. You either have to eat less or move more. And most people don't want to eat less. They're already eating very minimal amounts of food, um, and then they don't have the energy to move more, right? Like, so we need to go into a place where we're repairing the body, increasing your calories, right? And then looking at that as a whole. But back to the original question, do I think 12 weeks is too much? Do I think that you're going to do any damage in 12 weeks? No. If you took it to extremes, possibly, but 12 weeks, if you're coming from a healthy place, no, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The long answer.
Yes. I think that's the best way to actually liberate the whole situation of what's going on. We actually try to lose it in 3 months, or we want to go into a longer cycle of losing it or maintaining it at least.
Yeah.
We don't want to habituate to calories that your body is like that. Honestly,
It is not a lot.
it's not a lot.
It is not a lot. And the unfortunate part is, a lot of times women come to me and they're eating sub 1,000 calories, and they've been doing that for a long period of time. One of the first things that I have women do when they come to me for nutrition is track 3 to 5 days. I just want to have a general look at what you're eating on a regular basis over a 3 to 5 day period. Do not change anything about your nutrition, and track every bite, lick, and taste. And there's long periods of fasting, and then the foods that they're eating, and it's sub 1,000 calories, and it's you have to have an honest conversation with them about having to bring them into a reverse and bringing their calories up, because I I won't be able to help them. I'm not going to increase the amount of activity that they're doing, and I am certainly not going to decrease the amount of food that they're eating. I I think that everybody should be eating the most amount of food humanly possible, while at least being able to maintain, or moving into a deficit of some sort, right? You want to be healthy enough, physically and metabolically, hormonally, to be able to go into those deficits and to actually see weight loss.
When we talk about maintenance and energy level, especially in women, um, there's women who are suffering from the PCOS, and feel like estrogen and our hormones are going to be playing a big part in that. How do you feel like it's gonna be? How can we bring that into balance?
So, like, if we look at somebody who has PCOS in general, there's there's typically a lot of things going on. They probably have high levels of androgens, so like in a hormonal profile. They are probably also insulin resistant. There may be, some issues going on there in terms of that, which is going to also make it difficult for them to lose weight. So if somebody's coming with very specific hormonal issues like PCOS, you would handle those you know those clients a little differently than you would somebody who's coming with no metabolic issues or no autoimmune conditions, and finding the balance for them. So we might need to take a little bit of a different dietary approach for them, just to basically like balance that out, and find a way of eating that they are comfortable with, that they're going to be able to see results, and get you know live the lifestyle that they want to live. So yeah, so anybody who's coming with an autoimmune immune condition definitely needs a different approach, to their nutrition and their lifestyle, and we're going to base a lot of that off of their hormonal profile, and what they're experiencing. And so for people like that, like, it's really having a look at like the types of foods that they're eating, creating a diary, and like, how do you feel after you're eating these foods? Do you get rushes of energy, or do you have energy crashes? Right, so that's going to be a big telltale sign for me as to what's going on in the body and how we need to shift their nutrition.
When we talk about like energy crashes or even sugar sugary food and spikes.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot that is to be discussed in that. So what for you is ideal meal plan from morning to evening that women should be going to in order to maintain
Yeah.
their hormones, but also like be able to get all the nutrition.
When we look at nutrition, it's really like, and I would say for almost everybody, every demographic that I look at, almost all of them, and whether it's like PCOS, hypothyroidism, if we have issues with hormonal imbalances, anything like that, and even general public, it's increasing the amount of protein that we're eating. I read a study recently that said, I think the average protein intake for the average woman was like 69 grams per day. It is not, and that is just not enough. So it's increasing the amount of protein that they are eating. And we don't jump right to the other end of the scale either. It's really taking it slow and controlled, building it up over time so that it doesn't feel overwhelming. So increasing the amount of protein. What kind of healthy fats are we getting in the meal as well? Whether it be things like, avocados, eggs, nut butters, oils. And then on top of that, what's the carbohydrate choice that we have in that meal as well, right? So it's a protein forward meal, healthy fats, and balanced carbohydrates. And carbohydrates, I believe, need to be balanced based off of every individual, and every individual is going to be a little bit different, because we all have different energy needs. So, but when it comes down to it, it's always protein. It's always protein.
So how do we know if it's too much protein that we're taking in or if it's less protein?
So I'm going to say, like, the general rule of thumb, for the majority of people, uh, if you wanted to look at it real simple, it would be 1 gram per pound of body weight. So, like, for me, like, in general, that's probably going to be somewhere about 180 grams per day. I'm physically active. I spend a lot of time in the gym. I prioritize muscle building. All of those types of things. But if you have somebody who's coming in that potentially weighs maybe over 200 pounds, it wouldn't be feasible for that person to eat that amount of protein per day. So sometimes we look at what the goal weight might be, like what the end weight might be. So let's say you had somebody who weighed 180 pounds, and the goal weight was 145. We might look at 145 grams of protein per day, just to kind of get them up to eating enough of it to sustain the body, like for building muscle mass, immunity, recovery, all of those things. And the thing is, with protein, it's also the macronutrient that's going to keep you feeling fuller longer. It's going to be the one that's going to keep your hunger in check. And protein also has a thermogenic effect, right? So it's like, if we're eating it, your body is expending more calories just to burn it. So like, you're actually burning more calories just by eating the protein. It Protein is like the win-win of all macros. Eat more. Eat more protein.
As much as protein, but not over.
And I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think the average person could potentially eat too much protein. I just don't see that happening. Not to say that you like, yeah, no, I'm like, you would have to eat a pretty substantial amount of protein to get to levels where and I think for the majority of us, that's just never going to happen. You wouldn't eat anything else.
So does it mean that, because I know that I also want to be having simpler diets, easily available stuff.
Yeah.
So what if they're eating like just 4 or 5 bars of protein bars every single day? How is that going to affect them? Because okay, I need to eat protein, but they're only eating protein bars.
It's processed food. Protein bars, at the end of the day, like they're a great option when you need something quick and on the go. Um, they're not an ideal option for meals or meal replacements. You're just not going to get what you need. They're not going to keep you feeling full. They probably are going to have some sort of impact on your hunger or your energy, sorry, your hunger or your cravings, because they're typically sweeter. We won't even get into like the sugar alcohol aspect of it and what it might do to your gut health, because I know a lot of people might have issue with that as well. So is it ideal to do those things? No, it's not ideal to like make all your meals a shake either, right? Like, it's not a protein shake or a protein bar. Those things are supplements. They're things that should supplement a well balanced nutritional approach, right? Whole foods. What are we eating, right? And it's like single food ingredients.
It makes a lot of sense when you actually emphasize on supplements that they are not going to be your meal replacement. They are just to add on to get your macros.
Yes. Yeah. Or if you wanted a sweet treat or a snack, or sometimes that's a more ideal option than, say, I don't know, mini eggs. I I have a very close relationship with mini eggs. Like, they are like, they're the one food that I struggle when I bring them into the house because I can't control myself. I eat all of them. But I find if I'll have a protein bar, and it might even just be a half a protein bar or a bite of one, and that kind of like curbs that craving for something sweet, and then it's still protein forward, so I'm not overeating and overindulging on you know mini eggs.
And what about, like, I have seen women that they are continuously working and they're running around just to say that, okay, I'm burning those calories, but they're not getting enough rest.
Mhm.
So how does that affect their whole health or their nutrition goals or fitness goals as well?
So, like, are they eating while they're running around and doing all of these
Like
things?
overly no rest days. No, how to sleep? Yeah, their sleep. They don't have enough sleep.
They don't-
Their house and health is being affected because of that.
Yeah.
And how is that going to affect them if they're not having enough rest?
So sleep is the most underrated thing that you can possibly do. If you're not seeing results if you are doing everything right, your fitness, your nutrition, but you're not sleeping, you won't see results. Your sleep has such an impact on your overall results. It's one of the first things that I prioritize with clients, and I think that you know some people they look at not getting sleep as like a badge of honor. I barely ever sleep, and I'm like, it's actually it's not great for you. We and I tell clients all the time, um, have a they're like, oh, I need to go to the gym, and I'm getting up at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm like, sleep in 2 of those days per week. Get the extra rest. It's going to make a huge difference on things like your hunger, your energy, and your cravings. Sleep is where your body repairs. It is where we get our recovery. It is going to have a direct impact on your blood sugars, your cortisol, your cravings throughout the day. Like if you're not getting enough sleep, what are you running on? You typically tend to run on a lot of caffeine and a lot of sugar, right? Because it has a direct impact on that. So, um, if you want to fix things, fix your sleep. Go to sleep. Find a bedtime that works and stick to it every day of the week.
How much time should someone spend um, working out or physically active mentioned intentional work?
So if somebody was brand new to working out, I would say like 2, maybe 3 days per week, an hour each of those days. I think that that would be ideal for somebody who is just getting into their fitness program, because it's typically manageable, right? If you came into it and you were looking like you just went all out, and you're like, I'm going to work out 7 days a week, and it's just not going to be manageable with your lifestyle, right? That's something your body is going to be tired as well, sore and not recovering, right? You want to make sure that you're recovering. The more advanced that you become in your exercise program, the more ability you're going to have to do physical activity day in day out. You become more advanced the longer you stick to it. So if you're looking to just get into a fitness program, 2, maybe 3 days per week. Prioritize getting your steps during the day, getting enough sleep, focusing on your nutrition. Do the little things that add up, and then add in as time goes on, right? So that it's not an all or nothing approach to fitness or to nutrition. Nothing ever has to be an all or nothing approach. It needs to be manageable, maintainable, and achievable.
So now comes the part where we ask some fast questions.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not a fast kind of answer. I think I like to ramble on. And the funny thing is, too, is I made notes and I was like, I haven't looked at it because I just,
But no, it's more when it comes out naturally because you know all those things, and that's the main thing that we're talking about. That
Yeah.
these are the things that you know that needs to be brought up into light.
Yeah.
So with that, what will be the three things that you would say women should focus on in their life to balance everything when it comes to their health?
um, Prioritizing sleep, prioritizing nutrition, and not taking an all or nothing approach. I think that those are like three things that are really going to help you balance everything. Protein is the macronutrient of life. We all need it. Getting sleep is going to get you that recovery, and taking a attainable, maintainable approach to your fitness and nutrition. Small steps. Small steps.
And what is one sentence that you would say that fitness can provide to women, especially over the age of 40?
One sentence.
Like, yes,
I
like
can
a
bring this
basic.
down to one word: strength. Strong. You want to be strong. And it's not just for aesthetics, it's legitimately for life. And it's like the things that we are doing right now is not what we're doing for our body at this very moment. It's what we're doing for the future. Being able to walk upstairs, being able to carry in our groceries, being able to chase after our grandchildren, being able to sit on a toilet, getting off the couch. You want to be strong. Get strong right now. Be strong.
And is
Take
it
space.
too late?
It's never too late. It is absolutely never too late. I think that anybody can start at any point in time in their life. And if they're thinking about it, they just need to make that one step to move forward and do something about it. it. It's never too late.
How would you motivate, or what would you advise to women who are still thinking about not putting nutrition as one of their nutrition or health as one of their priorities, but we are putting every other expenses before them? Should they maintain that balance? That should I really invest in a personal trainer? Should I not? Is it important to get a personal trainer to start with, or what is your approach to that?
Um, like, do I think that you need a personal trainer? I mean, if you have no fitness background whatsoever, then yes, I would say like invest in a personal trainer. Learn how to do the movements, learn correct form. That is going to help you so much as you move forward in your programming. It's going to help you avoid injuries. It's, you know, you're going to gain a confidence that you will not have without having a personal trainer. The very first thing that I did for myself was I hired a personal trainer because I wanted to know. And although I am a personal trainer, it's still something that I consider. And I like it's actually something I considered last year because I there's always somebody out there that knows more than you do, and I want to learn from those people and make sure that everything that I'm doing and I'm executing with amazing form, and targeting all of the things that I want to be targeting and doing all of the things that I need to be doing to maximize my results from the movements that I'm doing. But in saying that, there is tons of resources out there. I mean, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I mean, like, there is so much information out there that if you don't have the funds or the resources to hire a personal trainer, research, practice, watch yourself in the mirror, do the things, right? It's like taking that time to build your knowledge.
And one last question, because I really believe in manifestation, and I tend to connect everything to my manifestation, to how to manifest stuff. Do you think there is any relation of health to manifestation?
I think that if you don't believe, you will not achieve. So if you don't manifest in your mind your results, or you don't believe in yourself that you're going to achieve it, you won't. You have to believe in order to achieve. Have faith in yourself and know that with small changes, you will see big differences. You just need to change that mindset. I do think that there is a connection there. Absolutely.
Sharing one last story from my personal experience. When I see myself in the mirror, I see myself as I've already achieved my dream body or my nutrition. I feel like, okay, I'm healthy. I feel healthy. I try to, you know what, I am healthy. I don't need to be craving all those things when I already have one piece of it.
Yeah.
I don't need to have a whole cake. It's all about manifestation. Okay, I believe in myself. I can control it. Or if I deserve it, I deserve it. All those things that comes with manifestation. Perfect. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us today. We really love your company and all the information that you gave me and my audience. It was lovely, and thank you so much. I'm pretty sure women out there are going to go crazy when they get to know all these insights of nutrition and how they can balance it, because they all need it. We all need it, I guess.
I agree. Every woman needs it. You know, we're all going to experience every stage of life at some point in time. If we're fortunate enough to age and age gracefully and experience everything that life has to give us, we're gonna experience it. Every woman should be knowledgeable and have that